Hey friend, a quick update for you. My website is officially live. I'm so excited. You can check it out at reneemat.com. And my name is spelled a little bit different, so people get hung up on it sometimes, but it's Renae. And I'll make sure the link is in the show notes in case you need to just click that and get to the website. But this website is where you're going to find all the things that I talk about here on the podcast. Plus, I've officially opened the wait list for my upcoming course. So, if you've been wanting some extra support to finally get those 5 foundational routines working for real life, you'll definitely want to get on that list so that you are the first to know when doors open. The new website is going to be your go to spot to learn more about me, check out those resources I mentioned on the podcast, and get that support if you're ready to create routines and systems that actually work for real life. So when you're done listening, head to reneemat.com, take a look around, pop your name on that wait list. I cannot wait for you to see it. Have you been wanting to create a good morning routine, but it seems like no matter how hard you try, it's just not working? Before you give up on your morning routine, I want you to listen to this episode because it might just change your perspective and help you to finally create the morning routine you've been praying for. Are you ready to stop the chaos, the stress, the overwhelm that's filling your life? I'm Renae Matt, and together you and I are going to build simple routines that are going to change your life. When you put these habits into practice, you're going to be able to organize your life in a way where you can be there for your family, pay off your debt, save money, your house can stay organized, you don't have to stress about what's for dinner, and you still get time for yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Routine Advantage Podcast. Now, there are many reasons why a morning routine might not be working for you, but what you want to really consider is, first of all, why you want a morning routine. There are so many benefits to a really good morning routine, and I think it's really important to have a morning routine, even if you aren't a morning person naturally, because when you can create a morning routine that works for your life and fits your personal priorities, you may not like mornings, but you definitely learn to appreciate mornings, and it can start your day on a whole new level. So, a good morning routine, when it actually works for you and you've created it to complement your life, it really gives you time to focus on your needs right away in the morning. Now, when you can do this, it is not a selfish thing. It actually allows you to make sure that you are taken care of so that you can show up the rest of the day and be a benefit to others because you're not going to be feeling drained all day long and feeling stressed because even if stress comes up, you're going to feel like you have been taken care of and you are going to show up better throughout the day. So it's actually a very unselfish thing to make sure that you are taken care of first so that you can serve others better. Another amazing benefit to a good morning routine is that it helps you feel prepared before your day officially begins. When you have a good, solid morning routine, you feel like you can just tackle the day because you feel prepared. You're not floundering and feeling like you are just bouncing in all different directions right as soon as the day starts. You actually feel like you have a plan. And it helps you set the tone for the rest of the day. When you feel like your needs are met and you feel like you are prepared to enter your day, you are going to have a much better day than skipping all of those things and feeling like total chaos as you enter your day. So there are many things that are benefit to having a good morning routine. But if you've been trying to do this and it feels like you're failing, and you just can't seem to get your morning routine to work, I want you to think about why. And when you're thinking about this, you might think that it is, it's not working because you have to shorten your routine and then you don't feel like it's good enough or you feel like you're tweaking it and that feels like you're failing. That's not the case. We do want to tweak things to make sure they're working for us, but sometimes we look at this as a negative thing when it doesn't have to be. It might even feel like you can't get a good morning routine in because the kids often wake up early or something like that. There are so many other things that could be happening in our life that feels like it's preventing us from having a good morning routine. However, I can guarantee that those probably aren't what is bothering you or what is preventing you from having the morning routine that you want. It is probably actually not having a good evening routine. And this might sound a little odd to make sure you have a good evening routine to be able to have a good morning routine, but they complement each other so well. And if you find that you're struggling to have a good morning routine, you probably actually need to look at your evening routine instead of your morning routine first. And the reason this is because your evening routine sets you up to have a good morning routine. And then your morning routine sets you up to have a good day. And then it flows into your evening routine to again set you up for your morning routine. And it just cycles. So your evening routine is benefiting your morning, and your morning is benefiting the rest of your day. And when we can really get these two partnered and aligned, then you're going to see monumental changes in how your day flows because then you are going to feel more prepared. So, there are many ways that you can look at your evening routine and really think about what is going to set you up with the most benefit for the morning. And if you need to actually create a step by step routine, that's great. If you need to pair certain things with other habits and kind of have this wind down in the evening. So maybe a couple of these habits are actually partnered with your dinner routine or your after school routine. Or maybe it is when you are getting ready for bed, you are doing some of these tasks. Or maybe you have an actual full evening routine that you run through in like 15 minutes to make sure you're prepared for morning. It's totally up to you how you actually implement this in your life, but I wanted to give you some ideas of things that you could consider putting into your evening or sometime throughout your afternoon, evening to be able to make sure that you are set up for the morning. And then you will be shocked at how much better you're able to actually show up for your morning routine and be successful with it. So, a few things to consider putting into your evening routine is to number one, make sure you are tidying up any of your living spaces before you go to bed. Like I said, this could be an after dinner routine, maybe it's a before dinner routine, maybe it's just 10 minutes before you go head to bed. It's totally up to you how you want to do this or when you want to do this, but it is a really nice thing to be able to make sure everything is tidied up before you go to bed because then it's not going to distract you or pull your attention when you're getting up in the morning feeling like you now have to clean up the house because it's messy. If it's tidy before you go to bed, then you're going to wake up to your tidy home and not feel like that is going to pull your attention right away. Another thing to consider is making sure that you are committing to going to bed with no dirty dishes. And I'm not saying no dishes at all, because if they're air drying on the counter and you have a habit to put them away in the morning, that is totally fine. I don't want you stressing about dishes all the time, especially if this is a new habit to implement. But if you are committing to going to bed with no dirty dishes, then it can kind of change how you are approaching your habits in regards to dishes for the rest of the day. So when you're looking at this, if you are ending the day with just massive piles of dishes and that feels really overwhelming to commit to going to bed with no dishes, then you need to see where your habits need to shift a little bit earlier. And I do have a recent episode that you can go back and look at, and it is I can't remember which number it is. I really should look it up because I've been referencing it a lot lately, but it's got to be somewhere around the 180s. And it's if you're overwhelmed with dishes, to be able to actually create some habits to help you with this so that you don't have to be overwhelmed with dishes. So that again, when you are waking up in the morning, you are not going to be distracted by the loads of dirty dishes. And you can actually just go straight into your day and not have to worry about the dirty dishes that are hanging out. A third idea to consider is to set your alarm when you want to get up. And this does not mean when you want your alarm to go off and then snooze it how many times. I'm saying to actually set it for when you want to get out of bed and then get out of bed immediately when your alarm goes off. This will change how you feel so much. This is like one of the biggest things that I tell people to do if they're waking up groggy because they've just been snoozing 3 or 4 times, and every single time you hit the snooze button and you go back to sleep, you get more and more tired, and it changes when you actually get up. You do wanna make sure you're getting a good amount of sleep, so use that time to actually get as much sleep as you possibly can and set your alarm to when you actually wanna get up. You're going to feel so much better. It won't be fun getting out of bed. I can pretty much assure you of that. It really does kinda suck crawling out of bed when you are really tired and your alarm just went off, but it is so important to get up immediately and then just go brush your teeth and wash your face with some cold water, and you're gonna feel so much better and more alive and lively, and it will actually feel better through the rest of your day too. You won't feel as groggy as you would if you had been snoozing the whole time. So that is a big tip. The fourth idea is to know your plan. When you can make sure that in the evening before you go to bed, you know exactly what you're going to do the next morning, you're going to feel more confident to stick to your morning routine. So make sure that you aren't just saying, oh, I'm going to get up early and I'm going to get some things done. Make sure you have a plan. Know that you are going to get up and you're going to go for a walk for 10 minutes and you're going to come back, you're going to brew yourself a cup of coffee, you're going to sit down, with your Bible or your journal and you're going to just write for 10 minutes, whatever plan you have, just make sure that you have a plan and you know it before you go to bed. This is going to make sure that you know exactly what to do when you are getting out of bed so that you don't feel more inclined to hit that snooze button and stay in bed a little bit longer. If you know exactly what you're going to be doing, it's going to make you a little bit more excited to get out of bed and get that done so that you feel really good for the rest of the day. The fifth idea to consider for a good evening routine is to make sure that you set out anything that might be helpful to help support you for a good morning. So, this might be prepping the coffee maker if you need to. Maybe it's setting out which workout clothes or which just clothes for the day that you're going to be wearing so you don't have to worry about that the next morning. Maybe it is having a basket or some sort of like designated space for things that you like working on in the morning. So, if it's a journal, or your Bible, or maybe it's your paper planner or anything that you need. Maybe it's like highlighters or pens or pencils, anything you need that is in the morning. Maybe it's even a book that you like reading in the mornings or a blanket that you like sitting out on the porch and reading a book for a little bit while you're listening to the birds as the sun rises. Like, how amazing does that sound? So, if you have these things that you really like having, instead of getting up and then needing to go find all of these things, either set them out the night before or have a designated spot that these always stay. And then when you're getting up, you can actually just go straight to that spot and pull out what you need. And you don't feel like you're just searching for things and wasting time in the morning trying to find what you were hoping to spend time on. And the sixth idea to consider for a good evening routine is to create a wind down routine to help you go to sleep at a decent time. We want to make sure that we are getting a good morning routine. And if we need to get up a little bit earlier than we normally do, then that's a great idea. I love getting up before my husband or even our dog gets up because I like that quiet house to myself. And if you are able to do that, I highly, highly encourage you to do it. However, that's not possible for all of us. So if you are looking at what time you need to get up, sometimes you might be, getting your family off and out the door or get set up with an activity and then you sit down for your morning routine and that's okay too. You have to do what works best for you. But we also want to be making sure, even if we're getting up at whatever time we're getting up, that we actually get a good night's sleep as well. Sleep is really, really important. So if you have to decide between having a morning routine where you're getting up early before everybody else and getting more than 5 hours of sleep, I would actually encourage you to get more sleep because sleep is just that important. We need good sleep. So if you need to prioritize sleep for a while first and then do your morning routine a little bit later, that is probably going to benefit you more than trying to get up super early all the time and then burning yourself out. So I just want to make sure that you know that you don't have to get up super early if sleep is more important in this season of life. That is okay. But if you are able to get up a little bit early, you still want to prioritize that sleep. So if you're getting up pretty early, you also want to make sure you're going to bed a little bit earlier than normal so that you have time to get that decent sleep in. So when you are looking at what to do in the evenings and you're struggling to go to sleep or anything like that, you want to make sure that you have a good routine to wind down. And this might look at like setting up a time where it's like, okay, I want to be in bed by 10 p.m. And if you struggle to fall asleep right away, then you want to give yourself some time to get into bed so that you have time to go to sleep. So maybe if you want to be sleeping by 10, maybe you look at making sure that you are, showered and ready to go and you're ready for bed by 9. And then you put your phone away and you don't have any screen time right away after your shower. And from 9 to 10, there's no screens. And you pick up a book or you do something really relaxing from 9 to 10. And that helps you to wind down as you're crawling into bed and you're relaxing yourself and you're doing, maybe you're doing some breathing exercises or you're doing just some prayers at the end of the day or anything that works well for you, but that is your routine. So even though you're going to bed at 10, maybe your goal would actually be to get into bed by 9 so that you can wind down and get these things into place so that over time it becomes easier and easier to get to bed at a decent time so that you can get up for your morning routine and have a really great day and feel really good about it. So I hope that this gives you some ideas to just look at what else could be the issue if your morning routine isn't working. It might have absolutely nothing to do with your morning routine. So if this is the case, look at your evenings and look at the night before on when these things are getting done. So these are just my ideas that I just wrote down really quickly. I had 6 of them and I will recap those for you so that if they are applicable to your life, then you can start to make some shifts and changes for these. But really, if these don't apply to you and you find that there's something else that you could be doing that is way more supportive of your morning routine to actually work, then do that. Like, you do not have to do the ones that I'm suggesting here. These are just to give you a little bit of food for thought on what you could be looking at if your morning routine isn't working. So, I have 6 ideas. Number 1 is to make sure you are tidying up your living space before you go to bed. Number 2 is committing to no dirty dishes as you go to bed. Number 3 is to set your alarm to the time that you actually want to get up and not snooze. Number 4 is to make sure you know your plan for the morning so that you know exactly what you are going to be doing when you do get out of bed. Number 5 is to set out anything that might be helpful the night before. And number 6 is to create a wind down routine so that you can actually go to sleep at a decent time. So I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you try one of these things, at least one of them, and see if it helps to support your better morning routine. And if you need some ideas on how to actually build a good morning routine that works for you and does support your life, I have tons of episodes on morning routines and all sorts of routines here. Especially if you're new to the podcast, we focus on 5 foundational routines. That is your morning routine, your meal planning routine, your daily 7 home routine, your movement routine, and your budget routine. Those are the 5 that I think are an absolute must for everybody to feel prepared and feel organized in their life. And that is what we are usually talking about here on the podcast. And I have tons of ways to be able to support you in all of the different episodes. We've got a course coming up, and you can learn all about it at renaematt.com. But otherwise, I hope this was helpful for you, and I will catch you back here on the next episode. Did you love that episode or learn something useful? If so, would you do me a huge favor? My goal is to grow this podcast and help as many women as I can break free from the overwhelm so they can truly enjoy their life. The best way for me to do this is for you to leave a 5-star written review on your podcast app and to share this episode with a friend or in your Instagram stories. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.